Hi, this is Dave Scott. I get a topic that is continually brought up throughout the year by athletes that I coach and athletes that contact me via email or phone at my office, and it's a term called overreaching. And what does overreaching mean? Usually it's denoted by the athlete's inability to produce any productivity in their workouts. In other words, their workouts start to falter, they decline, and as they decline there are some key symptoms. We can all look at decline in performance. You have the inability to drive your heart rate up. Your legs feel very, very heavy just walking, and certainly walking up or down stairs, they feel kind of achy feeling. A lot of times your sleep is disrupted. If you've had any psychological or emotional issues, obviously that weighs on your body's ability to recover and perform, and that mind-body connection is huge. If you string 2 hard workouts together or 3 hard workouts, now early in the season you can get away with that, but as the season progresses and all the workouts begin to look a little bit harder, particularly with maybe a long session on the weekend and then a tempo run, a track workout, a hill climb, a threshold swim, all of a sudden you're looking at hard, kind of hard, very hard, and we can reach a point where your body doesn't respond. That lack of response is called overreaching. And when we get to that point, a lot of the symptoms that I just described, the inability to drive your heart rate up, sometimes an elevated pulse rate, heaviness in your legs, it really means very simply that you're stale, that you've gone too far. So how do you rectify it? First, recognize the symptoms. Secondly, you need to take 2 days completely off, and I mean off. Don't say, well, I'll just squeeze in a short run, or I'll do an hour ride, or I'll go over to the pool and swim 2K and just see how I feel. Don't do anything. If you want to do some light walking, get some of the other things done in your life that maybe you neglected. After day 2, the 3rd, 4th, and the 5th day should be very, very light. My suggestion is that you actually avoid running, because that eccentric load that you have causes the most joint and muscle tearing and feeling of sort of worn downness. That's not really a word, but we all know what that means when your body just feels kind of heavy and your joints are achy. So my suggestion is that you swim lightly, you do an easy bike session in a lower gear, and it should be between about 30 to 45 minutes. So day 3, day 4, day 5 can all look the same. One activity is best. If you feel as though your body is starting to respond, again, keep the session short, keep the intensity very, very low, even below your aerobic pace. On day 6, you're able to resume your normal training pattern. Now, not everyone feels the same after 6 days, where you have 2 days off and 3 days of light training, where you're able to all of a sudden just say, now I'm ready to attack it. It may take 2 or 3 more days where you're kind of building back into your program, and now it's really the 7th, 8th, and 9th day where you feel like, now I feel like I'm human again, I'm able to handle the workload. The most difficult thing about overreaching is that it can cause a lot of psychological distress, particularly during the season, because as athletes, we always want to perform at our best, and we have a short memory, and I've had an opportunity to coach a lot of the world's best, and they tend not to reflect on a workout that is 10 days ago. They want to know how they did the previous day. So try not to beat yourself up, and recognize if you give yourself some rest, do light exercise, that your strength and power will come back up, your ability to drive your heart rate will come back up, you'll be able to generate more force on the pedals, and everything will start to flow again. Overtraining, I just want to mention this really briefly, can be an abuse of this overreaching syndrome. In other words, you feel kind of okay, and you sort of push yourself through it. And I see this with type A athletes a lot, where they say, well, I think I'm over the hurdle, therefore I'm going to ratchet up my workout and make it even harder because I lost that time. Consequently, if you're mentally strong, you're able to kind of get away with it, but your performance will really lag, and you'll certainly see this in any competition. You just cannot extract that last 15 or 20%. If you get to overtrain, a lot of times it can cause huge blood chemistry changes, elevated muscle enzymes, and also hormonal changes. And with overtraining, this can lead sometimes to a 3-week to 6-month period where you have to really lie low. So we never want to reach the period of overtraining. If you have these periods of overreaching, you can catch them or nip them in the bud and continue with your program. So even in the off season, the middle of the season, during the competitive season, we're all exposed to this potential of overreaching, and you just have to be aware of the signs and signals. Hopefully that'll help.